Hello there sexy PlayStation gamers, and welcome back to another pure PlayStation video review, and this time we've got Those Who Remain on PS4. Those Who Remain is centred around a fella called Edward, and he's no saint. He's a boozer and a womanizer, and he's been having it off with his mistress on the side. He travels to the creepy sleepy town of Dormont to break off the affair in an effort to repair his marriage. However, not everything goes to plan. Edward's night soon spirals out of control, and not because he found a good titty bar, but because the fabric of reality itself begins to unravel around him. Edward is haunted by the sinister, shadowy townsfolk, while spectral shapes and paranormal phenomena follow him around too, fueling his paranoia. Edward's troubled past soon gets pushed to the side, with the story shifting its focus towards the fate of Dormont citizens. While the plight of these people proves more compelling than Edward's own personal troubles, it ultimately serves to distract from the overarching narrative, making it feel a little bit directionless and disjointed. While detrimental to its plot, these encounters with the shadow folk do bring one of the most inventive features of the game to the foreground, and that's the morality system. Some sequences in the game have you gathering up clues about the misdeeds of the townsfolk before coming to a conclusion. Others simply present you with a scenario, leaving you to decide how to approach it. Each moral dilemma lets you act either with malice or benevolence, contributing towards one of the three possible endings. Sadly though, with the uninspired writing, flat performances, and a lack of context for exactly why Eddie is playing judge, jury and executioner, I never really felt invested in these decisions or their eventual outcomes. This lack of heft behind Those Who Remain's morality system is just one of the reasons I don't really feel the urge to go back and play again to see the other endings. The conclusion I earned was a depressing downer, but that'll do just fine for me. With each area of the game being its own isolated level, the town of Dormont feels quite disconnected. Not only does this mean that the game never manages to maintain its atmosphere or tension, but also means each area feels a little samey, each following the same formula behind the facade of being something new and different. Central to the lack of tension is just how predictable things are. The shadow people aren't a threat unless you deliberately wander into the darkness, and the few poorly designed creatures that do give you a chase, well, they can easily be evaded. They're not a danger. Those Who Remain is split between exploration and puzzles, with the game shifting from one to the other between each level. Unfortunately, neither aspect is realised quite well enough. Exploration usually boils down to scrounging around for a key or a hidden item that's stuffed in one of the countless drawers or cupboards. It's busy work and it feels like it was made to pad out the playtime, but it just ends up feeling a little aimless, and making progress is done by poking around until you find the item you need. While hand-holding in games can cheapen the experience, Those Who Remain's vagueness takes it a bit too far the other way. On the other hand, puzzles do provide some much needed challenge to the gameplay. However, while this makes for some of the game's best moments, it also makes for some of the more baffling ones too. The best puzzles have you timing your movements as you shift between two planes of existence, think Stranger Things' Upside Down world, or interacting with the environment to light up a safe path to move forward. These mechanics are done really well, but they're sorely underused, and instead we're left with lazy puzzle design that has you gathering and placing objects at a painfully slow pace, or solving some hidden pattern through nothing but trial and error. And, to top it off, the checkpoint system is annoyingly infrequent, and it comes together to create an experience that feels like more of a hassle to play than it is fun. The inconsistency extends to the game's presentation too, with the game struggling to establish an identity of its own. The game obviously takes inspiration from the likes of The Shining and Twin Peaks to PT and Alan Wake, and it's all apparent in the game's makeup. At times though, it's a little too on the nose, whether it's the obvious famous flooring of the Overlook Hotel or its Lisa-like apparition that haunts you down hallways. The game does make good use of lighting to create an eerie ambience, and there are some areas where the level design excels, pulling up some surreal imagery, but it's all let down by flat textures and character models that look like they were sculpted from old potatoes. It doesn't help that there's a general jankiness too. Those Who Remain is a game I really wanted to like. The bones of its story, game world and mechanics are all there, and the general ideas are sound, but the game never finds order out of these scattered moments of greatness. Every moment of suspense is over before it can generate any real terror, and the game's best feature, its puzzles, they're too few and far between, and it makes for a game that seems torn between genres without succeeding at being either. And that brings us to the end of this review. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it to be informative, and if you did, we'll take a like and subscribe instead of payment. Thank you very much. I hope you're all doing alright too, and that you're doing the best you can for yourselves in these weird days that we're living. Stay sexy, wash your hands, and keep playing. Until next time, bye!